Hi dancers, welcome to our very first Intro to Ballet level online ballet class here on Plié For The People. My name is Mimi and I'm so thrilled that you're here with us today. Today for this level, the topic will be the 5 positions of ballet in terms of feet, and we're going to be going over a short little introduction to port de bras with the arms, and also we will work on pliés and also our releves. And then later on, I have 2 special friends coming on to do a final combination with us that will tie everything in. So I'm really excited that you're here. We're going to begin the class by a quick lecture to talk about where ballet originated from and also the 5 positions of ballet. Enjoy, and I will see you soon during our class. Hi everyone, welcome to Introduction to Ballet, and today our topic will be the 5 positions of the feet. And we will also briefly touch up on the history of ballet and where these positions originated from. For those of us who might not even heard of ballet before, ballet is a type of dance style that originated from the Italian Renaissance courts. It's a form of dance that was danced only by the royals that are in Italy, and later it became a concert dance in France and Russia, and that just means that it was performed on a stage in concert settings, and ballet is usually performed and practiced by trained dancers dancing to classical music or set choreography. And dancers train very, very hard. They train very, very long in order to achieve a professional level status. And the dancers here on the left are the dancers of the American Ballet Theater here in New York. It all started with this woman, this Italian noblewoman. Her name was Catherine de' Medici, and who later became Queen of France because she married into the French family. And there's the key term that ballet comes from, or burgeons from. It really came from the word ballo, and it means to dance. And back then, Catherine de' Medici and her noble and royal friends would host these lavish ball and parties, and they would just glide across the stage. And simply by gliding across the stage with these amazing posture and poise, that was considered ballet back then. Women were wearing these long dresses that had to train and just very heavy, and then the gentleman was able to show off their calves, legs, and feet. So ballet was actually more popular amongst men back then, and women wasn't as virtuosic. They weren't as able to show off more advanced ballet steps, which I found very, very interesting. So it all sort of came from the influence of this one woman from Italy. And then later on, it was not until Louis XV, the King of France, Louis XV, he was just so obsessed with ballet. He was he was the advocate and the champion for ballet. And here he is on the right here with this lavish costume, posing as a sun god. It's a ballet that he created, and it lasted for hours, this ballet. And he was trying to represent the god Apollo in the ballet, which had a French name to it, but essentially it translated into the sun god. And he performed for hours on end. He was just so into ballet, and because he was very much into his own calf muscles and legs and feet work, and he was so just infatuated by ballet that he started his own dance academy titled the Académie Royale de Danse, or the Royal Dance Academy. And later on, it became the Paris Opera Ballet, which you see a photograph of the recent years of the Paris Opera Ballet here. You see the dancers kind of in the front, you see the ballerinas with the tutu, and you see the ballet male dancers in white tights here. In the front, they're called the étoiles or the stars, and then they're ranked in different positions. You have some of the students here, and then you have the quarter ballet all around, and then you have the soloists in the middle here. So yeah, there's definitely a hierarchy within a ballet company, but that can be in a presentation on its own. So we're gonna have to skip ahead due to time. And under Louis XV, he appointed Jean-Baptiste Lilly to be the main artistic director of the Paris Opera Ballet and the Academy. So this gentleman here on the right, he was the main choreographer, and he owned the artistic direction of where that company was taking off. Of course, he worked very closely with the king, and together with a ballet master named Pureboschon, they together were credited for codifying the 5 ballet techniques and making it very popular amongst the people who danced, which are, again, only the nobles and the royal family were able to practice ballet. And one key concept in ballet is the idea of turnout, which is essentially an external rotation of the legs and feet. And it actually originates from the top of your hips. And this whole idea started due to a few factors. One is that the dancing masters during this time felt that turnout, or the external rotation of your hips and legs, was much needed for men. Again, because of the costume constraints and the costume inspired by the costumes, because women were covered from head to toe. So it really doesn't matter whether they were turned out or not, meaning that their toes are pointing out or rotated, standing with our heels together and like our toes to the side, because they were covered. And so it was kind of pointless. But for the gentleman, again, the king was very much obsessed with the legs and feet, and really loved to show it off all the time whenever he got a chance in a ballet, or whenever he danced and performed, that he was always already turning out. So I thought that was really fascinating. And then by the mid-17th century, the proscenium stage had become the norm. And so everywhere, spectators were being lifted on these on the sides to watch a show. So that spatially, it sort of distorted the aesthetics of many of the ballet steps, so that it kind of forced all the dancers to think about externally rotating their legs and feet, and that parallel position, or when you're standing with your toes to the front and heels are glued together, that it's becoming a little bit more ill-suited, because that sort of distorts the line of a dancer. So therefore, they wanted to make everything more turned out, it was considered more regal, that you're standing with your feet open to the side. And also ballet started, another fun fact that's not listed here, is that the king of France, Louis XV, started dancing ballet and was really into it. It's also because he was feeling like he was getting closer to the divine beings or God. And by dancing ballet, because it was so upright, everything was like very vertical. There's a strong verticality that's in ballet. Everything is very much upheld from the waist up. So therefore, he was getting closer to God. So that was another reason why ballet was just so like the creme de la creme, like only the royals was able to have access to it. So let's talk about the 5 positions a little bit more in detail here. Our first position, this is how you stand. And this dancer is wearing what's called ballet slippers. For this lesson, you don't even need to have these shoes or tights or anything like that in order to learn these positions. So do not feel intimidated, excuse me, by this kind of shoes or anything. And if you don't have it, you're not able to perform it. That's not true. Simply grab a pair of socks or wear some sneakers. In our first position, our heels are ideally glued together, and our knees and calves are also glued together. Our toes are pointing outwards to the side comfortably. Your when you look down, it should not be forced. Nothing should be forced. You should be able to find stability in this position so that you're not falling over or grabbing onto anything. And you want to maintain a very tall posture. I know that the upper part of your body is cut off here in this photo, but for the purpose of this lesson, it's just an introduction of the 5 positions. So just mainly concentrate on the feet. Second position is a little bit wider distance apart. You create a natural wider stance. I would say about 1.5 feet in between your heels, and this is called the second position. The knees are also apart. Some of us might be hyperextended, meaning that your knees have hypermobility in them, and sometimes your knees might be touching during this part, and that just means that you want to avoid that situation, which I will explain a little bit more later. In the instructional video, but ideally this is your second position. It's more open, it's the feet are apart now. And also you want to find your stability here, so you're not going to fall over, backwards, front, forwards. All 5 toes are on the floor here. Third position, you simply will bring one foot and bring it and slide it across the instep of your opposite foot, or the arch of your opposite foot. Doesn't matter which foot. We will practice both the right and the left. Here the dancer is having his or her right foot in front of the left foot. And as you can see, the heel is touching the arch or the instep of the opposite foot. Next, fourth position can be a little bit tricky. I put 2 photos here. One on the left is a crossed fourth position. And this is simply when you have your heel directly in front of the opposite foot's toes, and then your toes are directly in front of the opposite foot heel, and establishing this wider stance, but going front and back. And on the right, I have a statue here. This is a little dancer by Edgar Degas at the Metropolitan Museum in New York. And this is a wide open or open fourth position. This is the position ideally I like to do with my beginner students, because this is a little less extreme than the crossed fourth position. Usually you do a cross fourth when you're a little bit warmed up in the middle of a ballet class, but usually when you first start learning fourth position or learning or taking a ballet class, you want to try to keep your feet open. So thus later on, when we are doing the follow along video with me, you will be doing the fourth position using the opened position here on the right. Fifth position, it's going to be both feet will be in contact, but one foot is in front of the other. Now your heel is slided all the way across, and your heel is your front heel is meeting your back foot's toes, and then your front toes will be meeting the back heel, the other foot's heel, as shown in the photo. I feel like this picture speaks for itself much better than how I'm articulating it. So essentially you're creating this beautiful line, and it almost looked like an hourglass or the letter X, and you want to present yourself. For beginners, don't worry about how turned out you are. You see how this dancer is extremely lateral or turned out. But later on when we do it, especially in sneakers or tennis shoes, right, it's going to be a little bit more bulky. So we might not be able to get this complete aesthetic. So don't worry about that. Alrighty, everyone. So let's dive into our practical side of these positions, and I'll see you soon. Welcome back, dancers. I hope you found that lecture very, very informative and helpful, and that you're ready to try it for yourself. Without any further ado, let's get up and find a space in which you can move a little bit in. We're going to work on first position. Simply, you are going to imagine that your heels have these magnets, and they're going to be attracted to each other right away, and your toes are to the sides. It's almost like your legs are almost like zippers. You want to zip them up. You want to keep your thighs, inner thighs together, and knees together, ideally calves together, heels together, so there's no gaps. So this is how you stand in first position. And going over to second position, simply going to stand with your feet a little bit apart. I would say like 1.5 feet, depending on what we do after this position. If we do a Grand Plié later on in your studies, then you have to have it just a little bit wider this, but just know that for yourself, this is going to be your second position. Moving on to your third position, just mirror me and you should have the right leg front, okay? Just shift your weight onto your left leg, then you're gonna drag your leg across. And you're gonna pause that heel at the instep of the back foot, okay? That's your left foot. So your right foot is in front, and then from here, remember the big ass statue? You're gonna keep it a little bit open. Simply going to shift your leg a little bit in front of you. And if I turn profile, right, it's going to be about a foot apart, right? So you're not doing it like this, right? You're not just giving it a little bit, right? You definitely want to keep it at the middle. And then when I turn back, you want to also make sure that your hip bones are squared onto me right now, okay? So you're not skewed to any direction here. And then simply going to gather your feet together and come into a crossed position, and now you're in fifth. Usually my beginner students or intro students are always working in third, just because this is a little bit more extreme in terms of your hips, the work that is happening at your hips. So we want to slowly and gently open a little bit at a time so that later on, when you get to beginner level or intermediate level, you can do it all the way across. But right now, third is great, but just know fifth is here for yourself. Those are your feet positions. And now we have to do our other side. First position is here, so now you're gonna have your left leg out to the side into second. Bring it across in third. Open it to the fourth position. Keep those heels and inner thigh flat to the front of the screen here. And then assemble into fifth. And in fifth, you don't have to have, remember I was talking about how lateral the dancer was, right? You don't have to have this like really like this look right now, right? That's really extreme. And depending on your footwear, right? You might not have what I have right now. You might not have these ballet slippers, and that's totally fine, right? You could be just in socks or sneakers or just bare feet, but you don't have to force your turnout yet. Okay, this is really, again, it's more like an intermediate level position. So just don't stress too much about the external rotation too much. And then, so those are your 5 positions on the other side. Now we're going to talk about arms, right? Where do we hold our arms during this part? This is called a Grad position, okay? It's, aka also they call it low fifth position. But just remember, this is just low arms. I sometimes just call it low arms. And you simply will be holding your fingers, right? You want to relax your wrist, and you want to relax these fingers. You don't want to have anything tense happening, right? So you want to just relax them, and you want to draw the middle finger towards the thumb, and you want to curl those index finger and the others, as if you're holding something very gentle in your palm. Maybe a little baby chick, maybe it's something very, very delicate, right? Just cradle it with your hands like so, and your elbows are stacked to the sides, so you're not dropping your elbows, right? Making sure it's stacked to the side, and there's a lot of energy in the arms. It's very, very strong. So if I come over and press on it, it's not going to go like that, right? So it's very, very, there's a lot of resistance in those arms. And they're slightly in front of the hips. So do not rest them on your thigh or in front of your hips, right? And one of the reasons why this arm position is held like this is because later on you might be in a performance and you have to wear these beautiful tutus that comes out. If you're a lady, if you're a gentleman, right? You still want to keep your hands away from your costumes. You don't want to touch that, right? So you want to keep it held a little bit in front of you, and this is your arm position in Grad. And from this position, you can keep your frame of this beautiful arm position, but you're simply going to bring up the lever or bring them up, okay, just like a lever, into what's called a first position arms of ballet. This is your first position of the arms. It's exactly the same, but now you're just going to raise it up. And it's not directly in front of your chest or nose or head or anything, because you don't want to cover your face, right? Just exaggerating for effect here, but you don't want to lift it so high up. And usually keep it at your sternum, right? This is like your sternum, right, in front of your heart, aka. So you want to keep it like that. This is your first. Okay, if I turn profile, this is my first, not here, but here. It's a little bit lower and stacked. And then from here, We're going to continue to go up using the same logic, keeping everything the same as if you're hugging someone close or a beach ball or a tree. And then you're just going to keep it up, keep it up. Remember to drop the shoulders. Do not raise your shoulders like this as you're raising your arms. Keep these shoulders very, very depressed. Keep them down, lock them in, right? I'm just going to be in a plie here to show you my arms, right? Going up, coming down, going up, coming down. And if I turn profile to show it, right, it's the same thing. Your arms are here, going up, shoulders are down. They're a little bit in front of you, so you can still, if you wiggle your fingertips, you can still see your fingers in front of your nose here, yeah? So that's your, this is your high fifth position. And then you're just gonna open them to the side, like a parachute that opens. And then now you're in second position ballet. And again, these arms are very strong, and they're slightly in front, right? And then from here, you're gonna do what's called an allongé, or to elongate, and then you slowly bring them down back to a brava position. Those are basically your basic arm positions. Okay, we don't need to go into third or fourth yet. We don't usually use that in beginner level or intro level. So again, let's review. Low arms, middle arms, high arms, open to the side, and down. Those are your arms. We're gonna move on to pliés, which means to bend. For our pliés, you want to use what's called an apparatus, what I call it on my channel, which is a piece of furniture. It could be a doorknob if you don't have anything around, a dresser. For our pliés, I'm going to be demonstrating with a chair. So I'm going to bring the chair over here, and I'm going to pop it like this, to the diagonal here. And pliés, we're going to stand in first position here, and our arms goes first, and you're just going to gently rest your fingertips comfortably on the back of your chair or whatever that you're holding. Now, after you set your arms on your apparatus for support, you're going to bend those knees over the toes and come back up. Nothing is shifting in your torso. Try your best to keep your torso very, very held upright. Remember where ballet came from. It came from the royals of those courts in Europe. So everyone is lifting very, very high up to show how important they are, to show their power and divinity and strength and beauty. So you want to hold yourself very, very high up as well. Pretend that you're a queen or a king or something, right? So you're standing very, very tall, and you're here, and you're doing that plié and stretch. The most important thing about your plié is that your knees are over your toes when you're bending, right? So you're not rolling the knee in any way. You have to have all 10 toes spread on the floor very, very flatly and spread out so that you can do your pliés with ease and control. And up, plié, and up. Going on to our next exercise, dancers, we're going to be introducing how to do a releve, and it simply means to rise. So say after you just did your plié in first, right? From here, you're just going to lift up your heels, tracking those ankle bones directly above your toes, and try to squeeze at your inner thighs here to find stability. Make sure that you're not rolling in or rolling out, but it's straight up, right? And if I turn to face you, it's like this, right? You want to squeeze at your inner thigh so that you can feel the work, and you can feel the strength of your legs elevating you up and bringing you down, like an elevator going up, okay? So those are some of the basic terminologies that I wanted to talk about today at home and or wherever you are. So remember the 5 positions of ballet feet, our arm positions, or port-de-bras, meaning carriage of the arms, and then our pliés means to bend, and then also our releves, meaning to rise. Now I'm going to try everything with my friends Alana and Hannah. What we're going to do is called a reverence. Reverence simply means a wrap-up of our class, and usually we do this combination at the end of the class just to pay respect to our form of ballet and the teacher and just each other for showing up and enjoying our time together. Great work, dancers, so far, and as promised, our special guests, my friends Hannah and Alana, are here helping us learn our 5 positions of ballet during reverence. Hello, Hannah and Alana. Good to see you both.
Hello.
Hi. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Alrighty, yeah, I love to have you guys here, and without any further ado, let's dive into our footsie canon 5 ballet positions, reverence. Ready?
Yep.
Awesome, let's
Yep.
go for it. Alright, dancers, so we're gonna begin with a short little canon. Canon just means it's the same sequence, but it's gonna be done at a different timing. And so I'm gonna be starting the canon, and then Hannah's gonna be the second person that starts the canon, and then following by Alana. So we're gonna start in first position, dancers, and in this position, we're gonna shift our feet into our second position, and then from here, you're gonna shift into your third position, then into fourth, fifth, then going back to first, and now we're gonna immediately dive into the left side without pausing at first position. So you're gonna go to the second position to the left, third, fourth, fifth, and then from here, Hannah and I will wait for Alana to catch up, and then all together, we're gonna go back to first. After we all come to first position, we're gonna do 2 demi-pliés. Just keep your arms low. Plie and stretch. 2, that's right, Alana, and stretch. And then from here, we're gonna do a Pureboschon. Our arms goes middle, that's right, Hannah. Up and open and down. We're gonna have a short little pause. And then all together, we're gonna do a unison phrase in which we'll just review all the positions once more. We're gonna shift our feet in the second position, third, and then fourth and fifth, first and second and third and fourth and fifth, going back to first, then 1 more plie, then rise, 6, and just a little curtsy or bow, and that's the end. Keeping those knees over your toes, making sure that your alignment is correct with your knee, and that's it. And then the first part is just gonna be a canon, okay? Dancers, are you guys ready? I'm so excited. Let's go for it. Standing nice and tall in first, and canon starts, and Hannah and Alana. Beautiful. Keep going, dancers. You can follow one of us to follow at home. And first, we do plie and a stretch. Beautiful, Hannah and Alana. Awesome. Arms up and open and hold. We go first and third and fourth and fifth. First and second and third and fourth. Fifth and first. 1 plie and we stand and rise. And we bow. Beautiful, dancers, so beautiful, yay! Thank you, dancers, great work. Really wonderful work today, dancers. I hope you found our intro to ballet level accessible and easy to follow, and that now you're more interested in continue your ballet journey here with us on Plié For The People. Please, dancers, subscribe to our channel today if you haven't done so already, or write to me directly at plieforthepeople@gmail.com. I hope to see you during our next class, and until then, stay hydrated and keep practicing your ballet. Bye!